Hey everybody, welcome to the Double Stuff Podcast. We are double the hosts, double the topics, and double the fun. I'm Sarah.
I'm Charity.
And that's just us.
That's it. It is Girls Night Out. We are taking over the podcast today.
Yeah, so this will be different. We haven't done this in probably since the beginning. I'm assuming.
It's more of like a Just Us Cookies, like when we were doing the videos during lockdown.
It's an extended audio presentation of Just Us Cookies, which is cool because we're sisters, or at least I've known you for a long time. The people, in a way, they kind of get to listen in on a sisterly conversation because we do this a lot. We talk to each other on a almost daily basis.
Well, what's funny, lots of people know that, like, oh, you do videography and, you do your podcast and stuff and you do production of stuff for work, but it's like, well, what do you do for fun? And it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, we freelance, so we're still video editing, when we're at home. You do your graphic stuff for work and for personal, so it's there's a gray sort of line between work and personal, but it's all the same. One's probably more enjoyable, I would say.
Yeah,
than the other one you just get paid for.
It's very involving, which I guess I didn't realize that was the case, when I was younger. It was just something fun to do on the side, because we both kind of got into this when we were teenagers. So we've been doing this just about our whole lives.
Yeah.
So because of that, it kind of started out as a cool hobby.
Don't forget our humble beginnings from the cassette tape.
Oh my gosh.
The embarrassing cassette tape, which I think somewhere in our parents' sea of boxes, because they still have a lot of their cassette tapes.
Oh man.
I feel like it's still floating out there somewhere. Like, I think it's in their garage.
Oh gosh.
And if they ever come across it, and if they ever have a cassette tape player and play that, and they're going to hear, 7-year-old Charity and 10-year-old Sarah doing their little radio show.
Oh, gosh. Well, I know for a fact...
Oh, the shame.
I know for a fact that Daddy has at least 2 cassette players in the computer room, so all we're missing now is our cassettes.
So we just need to go through all their cassettes and, cut the film out and just make sure that they never find it.
If we do come across it, it'd be cringeworthy, but we might have to actually play some.
That'll be a lot of money one day when we're famous and they want to make a biopic about us.
Yes.
They find these 2 little black girls learning how to use a cassette player.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. The Sara and Charity story,
Oh my gosh.
Coming to theaters. Oh man, who would play us? That would be interesting. Yeah, I can't think of any. They would have to start out us older, and then if they do a flashback, they would just find some nondescript girls and then either not show the faces or just show the hands doing motions. See, that's the other thing too. I'm already oddly envisioning that's going to look.
You watched the Elvis movie about 5 times, and we were
6 times
or 6 times, excuse me, but we were commenting how they did a good job comparing the real Elvis and some of his older pictures and childhood photos to finding the boy that played him.
It was a good match.
Yeah, so I think they could do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on that movie. I can talk about that for a long time.
Well, before we rabbit trail into the Elvis movie, because as you said, you can talk about for a long time. I kind of had a few things that I wanted to discuss, which I'm not sure if we've ever had this conversation. We've been doing media, as you said, for most of our lives. Professionally, I've been doing it about 10.
Probably close to 15 for me.
Okay, so close to 15. So media encompasses a lot of things, so when you're looking for a job, employer is not going to hire 5 people when one person can do the same job. Yeah. So you can't just do, videography. You have to do, editing and shooting, and you need to edit audio. You need to write copy. You need to script, so you're basically a one-man band, or at least you kind of have to be to get certain jobs. So in all of the things that you've done and have learned, what's something you're not good at? And this is like a reverse brag, because we could talk about video editing and the people that we've met and the places we've gone, but what's something where you're like, man, I really need to work on this. I don't know how to do it, or I don't know enough about it, and I still struggle with it. What's something that you feel like you're not too good at in the media world.
Well, it's interesting you say editing, which the generic, I guess the overall explanation of editing is that you're just, you're taking an excerpt from something you shoot, a few seconds, a few minutes, whatever, and then you just kind of sequence it, yes. But I know that there are certain styles and types of editing. I don't know if I've really done. I think my stuff is very just, I guess, general, just cut and dry, like that's a good shot, put it here. But, like some people can really make an art out of that, and they do some really cool transitions going from one scene to another. I think it's the transitions that I like, because sometimes you can start out with one building, and then as the building moves, you still see part of the building as it transitions to another scene. So I like the flow of that, and at least right now, I haven't done that yet. And I know that's a little bit into an animation aspect, which, to be honest, in terms of stuff that I'm not good at or that I would like to improve. Maybe let's say things I would like to improve or I would like to know, because saying things you're not good at, that's a long list. And at least that sounds more encouraging, like things I can improve upon.
I do know what you mean with editing though. So like for example, since we were talking about the Elvis movie, there's so many things where I'm like, I have no idea how to do that. Like, it's not even something that I can imagine of how to, animate. Even the credits scene.
I love the credits. Oh, yeah. Side note, people, please stay for the entire film. That's become, even at the age of 12, when I really started getting into media, that started bugging me even at 12 years old, that people would leave just because the movie fades to black. That doesn't mean the movie's over. There's, you still want to acknowledge the people that put the film together that you enjoyed. I know there's a lot of times me and Charity, a lot of times we go to a theater together. We do a lot of things together. But that's something that bugs us, like, and it's also a bit rude because people like to get up and they block the screen and all that kind of stuff. I think it's a courtesy. Also, we're looking forward to having our names on the credits. And
yeah, when we make a movie, everyone who is listening right now, listen up.
Yeah.
When we make a movie, y'all are going to sit in the theater until you see our names scroll by. My plan is to have it up top.
Oh, same. 100%.
So like, when they show executive producer, director, like it'll be up there. So like most people will see it anyway. But either way, you need to stay and look for my name, because I worked hard for that. Y'all are going to read my name.
Yeah.
I'm getting off my soapbox now.
Yeah, we also have a lot of soapboxes. I think we have a garage full of those, so be prepared.
We never get off. The streets are paved with soapboxes.
The streets, we just step from one box to another, and some are bigger than others, some are smaller than others, but we get on there regardless. But yeah, but still, just talking about that, yeah, like it's turning into Sara and Charity talks about media and then the Elvis movie. That's what it's kind of turning into. But yeah, that's at the time of this recording, it's one of the most recent movies we've seen, so we have a lot of comparison to it. And then talking about stuff that I wish I could do. I know we did a little bit in school, but I felt like we didn't touch on it as much, and that's lighting. I feel like there were certain things that are pretty major, like lighting or even producing. We really didn't touch on producing at all.
I didn't set up any lights until after college, like way after.
Yeah.
Like when we did lighting, it was on a book, on a page where they showed you like
the three,
yeah, like the triangle, like the key light and all and the backlight and all that stuff. That's what we did. But like the only people that really messed with the lighting and stuff that I remember were the teacher assistants who worked in the office. But like if you were doing your own video shoots and stuff, it was more like, hey, take the equipment and go shoot the things. But I would have enjoyed a more personal hands-on class versus more like book knowledge and stuff of trying to figure out how to do on my own.
Yeah, I remember one time, I don't even remember what the person's name was, but I think he was like I think his specialty was lighting for commercials, for like ads and stuff. And so he gave us an example about, I think he brought like a soda can, like Pepsi or Coke or something like that. And he showed us how to light it. But at the same time, he didn't show us how to light it. He was like, all right, you're going to set this up here, and you're going to put this right there. And it was just him showing off. He might have explained what kind of lights he did, but he just threw out some words and numbers. This is an X35K2. Well, that means nothing to me because I don't know what an X35K2 is. He really wasn't showing us like why. Why do we light it this way? It's almost like I was taught but not taught. I was shown.
You were
but not,
shown but not
I was
taught.
shown but not taught. That's a good way of saying it.
Anytime I show someone how to do something, or at least I try to, I will do the showing. So I'll show them, I'll click around, set up stuff, whatever. But then I'll step back and I'll say, okay, show me what I just showed you. So I'll give them a chance to do what they know how to do. And then usually what happens is that they know how to do it up to maybe step 3. And then once they get to 4 or 5, they're like, oh, I don't know. But see, that at least tells me, okay, they understood everything up to this point. This is what we need to work on. And then we can continue doing that. And usually I'll do that a few times. And then at the very end, I'll say, okay, let's start over. I'll shut everything down, put everything away or whatever. And I'll say, okay, now do it again. And usually by that point, by the very end, they're able to replicate everything that I just did. Because, because then at the end, they don't have to keep asking me questions. I mean, I have no problem with people asking questions, but they don't have to keep calling me up or asking me. They don't have to, figure out something on Google. They can do it themselves without being asked and without having someone look over their shoulder.
At least in terms of me and you, maybe that's why we are the way we are. While we've been shown a lot of things, we've had to teach ourselves. So, we are reliant on sometimes just troubleshooting just ourselves, just what does this button do, and hope that it doesn't detonate anything, or we, at least I know I started out pretty avid watcher of tutorials. Every once in a while I get a one-on-one, but that doesn't really happen a lot. At least for me, if you guys are listening out there and people that are really knowledgeable and are willing to take the time to show you personally, please, oh my gosh, that's very invaluable information. Please get on that. It's kind of interesting though, kind of turning the tables a little bit, kind of like we're talking about like teaching. Now that I'm a teacher, or now that I'm a professor, which even makes it more, maybe it's part of that imposter syndrome that especially people in the art industry get, because you feel like, man, I'm supposed to be teaching people about this and I feel like I haven't learned a lot myself.
But at least you're teaching them the basics, which at that point you already know.
That's one of the plus sides of teaching more of the intro level classes for media in college, because the fundamentals, I think the fundamentals will always be the same. The media equipment and stuff changes constantly, but there's some things that are tried and true, especially us as camera people, we know that if we're going to have a close-up shot of something, we know we got to at least get a close-up. No matter if we're shooting with our phone or some multi-million-dollar camera, you got to at least get a close-up of someone's face or a far-away shot, or don't give them too much headspace.
Yeah, I've been working with an intern for most of the summer, and he's coming back for the fall semester. I sent him a video from Instagram of Valentina V, who we've been following for a while.
Yeah.
And she was just talking about how to make your shots a little bit more creative. And she had a standard shot. She was saying, when she first started out, she had a camera and a tripod, and that was it. So most of her shots were pretty standard. You got your head shots, waist high shots, there's nothing wrong with that. It's your basic rules of camera operating. If you stay with the basics, you'll at least have a decent show. But then she was saying, if you're able to add movement to a camera shot, it gives like a mood to it. So she showed an example of a woman standing at the sink, washing dishes, preparing dinner. She had the waist high shot where it was just a side profile and, nicely lit, everything was fine. But then she had her second shot, which was just a tracking shot, and so it was zoomed out and it was a little bit down low. It was a little bit wider so you could see more of the kitchen, so it wasn't just a side profile, and it did a movement from left to right. And so even that shot it was just her cooking dinner or washing dishes, but it gave a movement and a feeling to it.
More dynamic.
A mood, I guess is what I was. It gave a mood of, okay, oh, well, she is washing dishes and cooking dinner, but what is she thinking? Is she thinking about her long lost love while she's doing the mundane chores of life? It might be a bit dramatic, but that's kind of the mood that you get for it. And so I sent my intern that video and I said, this is a way where you can sort of quote unquote break the rules of the basics. So there was nothing wrong with her first shot. Her first shot was fine. But the second shot is the creative part, and it gave more feeling to it. And I was like, this is how you can differentiate between a good video and a great one.
Without bragging, it sounds like it's something that kind of came natural. Once I started doing cameras at 12, I kind of got it, I kind of understood, the basics of far away shot, medium shot, close up. But then I realized the camera I had, for the most part, can go anywhere. So you can have some really unique angles. The person that I actually got to see that in real time, or I actually got to see it and really inspired me, actually was Alton Brown. Like, for those of you who used to watch Good Eats, oh my gosh. The first time I watched the show, he had the camera inside a drawer, or like he would have it inside the oven or microwave. I was like, finally, someone that's using those things that I've always wanted to do, and he's using it in the best way possible. The thing that got me into Good Eats wasn't the cooking, it was actually the media aspect. So I've done a lot of the talking about stuff that I wish that I was pretty good at, so I guess now is the time to finally ask you, Charity, what's something you wish you were good at, or maybe improve on?
If I kept you talking throughout the whole episode, you wouldn't have to get to what I'm bad at.
It'd be the Sarah Harmon show. And
let's list all of Sarah's mistakes and leave Charity's perfection intact.
Oh, we're taking that angle. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I was going to start it off.
Oh, okay.
So something that I would have liked to learn in school is script writing. So at the time, they may have changed the curriculum now, but at the time when I was in school, for both schools that I transferred to, script writing was something that was saved for the theater class. So it was more traditional, like a playwright sort of thing. Because I remember asking about that, and I was like, hey, are we going to do a script writing class? And they said, well, you would have to change over to a theater major.
Yeah, because TV and film don't use scripts.
Yeah, I'm like, how... Are they just ad-libbing this whole scene? So I didn't get to do script writing. I'm going to contradict myself a little bit in order to answer that question correctly. So when it comes to coming up with a story of, what we're doing for a show or radio show, or TV script ideas, I am great at coming up with the story and the characters and the personalities and even, why they do what they do, or if I'm trying to write like a mystery, how the culprit does ABC. Like, I'm great at that. What I'm not good at, when I've recently discovered, is writing the script, because you can have this huge idea of, how the murderer gets away with the crime, but then you have to put just this mundane dialogue that leads up to it. What's the rule? Like, it's like a minute.
I've always heard that 1 page equals 1 minute in a script.
So like, I'll write something and it'll take me a while to write, maybe 8 or 9 pages. And I'm writing this scene and I'm like, gosh, this scene is so freaking long. It goes on and on and on. But then we'll do a quick read through and I'm like, oh, so that was a regular conversation, but like when you're writing it, it's really hard to tell sometimes, is this a good scene? Am I going over, whatever my time limit should be? Is it too boring? Have I lost the point? I mean, maybe I would have learned that in a script writing class, maybe not, I'm not sure. But like, my script writing is only something that I've done in the past, maybe, 5 years or so. And so I've had to like learn how to do that myself and kind of stumbling through. Something else I would have loved to do is to know what a director does on set. So like, I've done some live directing or switching or whatever you want to call it. But like, if you're on an actual production and someone's shooting a commercial or they're shooting a scene for a TV show, just watching the director interact with the actors and, deciding which scene was good and, if they get a chance to work with the creative director, like, it would have been great had I had the opportunity to go on set with a small production company. Maybe we had a couple come to our school and they filmed like a commercial for our school. It would have been great to kind of follow that director around and see, okay, this is what a director does during the actual shoot. Because editing, I've figured out on my own, and planning a production, I've done the script writing and the set list and shot list and all of that. But it would be great to just know, okay, this is what you do during the shoot. And I would have loved that, but that's not something I've ever done. But like you were talking about before about being naturally good at something, I've had a few opportunities where I've had to kind of do stuff on the fly because I didn't get to prepare like I wanted to and have the whole shot list and all that. And then I started doing, I was like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
But I think I would have been better at it had I had a chance to see that. Before the podcast, I was kind of giving an example of walking around in a dark room. I've been doing media professionally for about 10 years now, but I feel like I'm just now sort of hitting my stride, or at least in the past 5 or so years I have been. But those first few years was like me walking around a dark room, and then boom, I run into a wall. Boom, I fall down the stairs. So like I learned how to walk around that dark room because, okay, hey, that hurt. Now I know a wall is there. Oh, I just fell down the stairs. Now I know that's there. But had I had someone there to kind of tell me what to do and say, hey, there's a wall here, don't turn left. Hey, there's a flight of stairs here, don't go this way. I probably would have been able to be working better professionally, back in 2014 versus just starting now in the past few years.
Bringing this all together. What's great about me and Charity is that, okay, yes, there are things that we may not be the best at. However, when we put our stuff together, when we put, when I take my strengths and Charity's strengths or my weaknesses, we're able to kind of balance each other out. Which is, you can't always say that for people. There's not a lot of people that have a sibling or a good friend that's in the same field that are able to read off each other and know enough to be able to put together something, whether it's on the fly or something that's been perfectly planned.
So maybe making that cassette tape was good practice after all.
Oh, look at that. See, that's how we bring it all together, wrap it up in a pretty little bow.
Yes.
Well, guys, this is how we talk. This is a typical sisterly conversation. It just happened to be actually recorded for the good of the podcast.
I feel like we just made this an excuse for a podcast. We would have had this conversation whether the microphone was on or not.
Yeah, but we decided to opt for the second.
Yeah, we just turned it on. We're like,
the microphone
you guys want to hear this? Sure. Let's hear this brainstorming session.
So yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll do this more often. But thank you guys for listening in. We're in season 13 right now, so we got a few more episodes coming up.
Lucky number 13.
Yay! It's a good number. I have been 13 myself. It's an okay age. So if you want to listen to all of our episodes, just binge listen to all of them. Just go to our website. That's doublestuffpod.com. It's also available on YouTube if you want to go that route. Of course, you can check us out on social media. So, Facebook and Instagram at Double Stuff Podcast. And of course, on Twitter at Double Stuff P. And that's the letter P.
Do, 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 do.